Obituaries, a presentation of Curtis & Son Funeral Home, the North Chapel on Highway 21 in Sylacauga, and Highway 280 in Childersburg. That's Curtis & Son Funeral Home, your Dignity Memorial Funeral Home for burials and cremations. Curtis & Son Funeral Home, 256-245-4361, Curtis & Son Funeral Home, Sylacauga, Childersburg. Funeral service for Billy the Well Pump Man Morris will be this morning at 11 a.m. from Friendship Baptist Church in Childersburg. Burial in the Tallahatchie Cemetery. Mr. Morris died on September the 28th. Curtis & Son Funeral Home, North Chapel, directing. Funeral service for Gary Coleman Jennings, age 73, of Morganton, North Carolina. That service will be Saturday at Unity Presbyterian Church in Weguffka. Starts at 2 o'clock. The Reverends Charles Sims and Jim Shaw officiating. Burial in the adjoining church cemetery. Memorial contributions can be made to the Unity Presbyterian Church Cemetery Fund, 8780 County Road 56, Weguffka, Alabama, 35183. Visitation will be from 1 until 2 on Saturday at Unity Presbyterian Church in Weguffka. Curtis & Son Funeral Home, North Chapel, Sylacauga, with the local arrangements. Funeral service for Mrs. Molly Beatrice McKenzie is today at 1 o'clock from Paradise Mission Full Gospel Church in Goodwater. The Reverend Everett B. Kelly officiating. Interment in the Paradise Mission Full Gospel Cemetery. Zion Memorial Funeral Home in Sylacauga in charge of the arrangements. Homegoing celebration for Mrs. Catherine McConico, age 65, will be Friday today at 11 o'clock from Scotts Grove Baptist Church with Pastor Trenton Woodward officiating. Interment in the Alabama National Cemetery at 2 p.m. Mrs. McConico died September 22nd at her residence. Sunset Memorial Chapel, Childersburg, directing. Funeral service for Mr. Thurston Lee Salas, age 78, of Rockford, is this afternoon at 2 p.m. from the Chapel of Radley Funeral Home in Alexander City. Dr. Jeffrey Fuller officiating. Burial in the Rockford City Cemetery. Mr. Salas died September 27th at his residence. Radley Funeral Home directing. Funeral service for Velma Ruth Youngblood, age 73, of Talladega, who passed away Tuesday, September 27th. A memorial service will be held Saturday at 2 p.m. from Concord Methodist Church in Talladega. And Charter Funeral Home will direct the service. The committal service will be 2:45 today at Alabama National Cemetery. And that memorial service will be on Saturday at Concord Methodist Church in Talladega. Graveside service for Charles Charlie Edward Colquitt, age 68, of Talladega, will be today at 11 o'clock from Pine Hill Memorial Park. The Reverend Martin Murray officiating. Mr. Colquitt died September 28th at St. Vincent St. Clair. He was a native and longtime resident of Talladega, and he was a veteran of the U.S. Air Force and an avid beekeeper. Ursery Funeral Home in Talladega directing. Funeral service for Mr. Walter L. Skinner Nettles, age 75, is Saturday at 1 o'clock from Mount Zion CME Church in Alpine. That service starts at 2 p.m. Burial in the Mount Zion CME Cemetery in Alpine. Visitation today, noon until 8 at the funeral home. The body will lie in state 1 hour prior to the service. Mr. Nettles died September 21st in Jacksonville Community Funeral Home, Sylacauga, directing. Funeral service for Gwendolyn E. Moon, age 65, is Saturday, October 1st at Rising Star Baptist Church in Sylacauga at 1 p.m. Visitation will be today, noon until 8 o'clock at the funeral home. The body will lie in state at the church 1 hour prior to the service. Mrs. Moon died September 22nd in Sylacauga Community Funeral Home, directing. Maddie Lane, age 87, died September 27th, Terry's Metropolitan Mortuary with the funeral arrangements. And funeral service for Lillian Joyce Hayes Josie, age 83, is today at 2 p.m. from Midway Memory Gardens Funeral Home, with the Reverend Don Barnett officiating. The family receiving friends noon until 2 at the funeral home before the service. Burial in the Midway Memory Gardens. Miss Josie was a native and lifelong resident of Talladega. She was a member of the Trinity Methodist Church. And Midway Memory Gardens Funeral Home in Talladega will direct that service. This obituary report brought to you by Curtis & Son Funeral Home, the North Chapel on Highway 21 in Sylacauga, and the Childersburg Chapel on Highway 280 in Childersburg. 256-245-4361. Your Dignity Memorial Funeral Home for burials and cremations is Curtis & Son Funeral Home, Sylacauga, Childersburg.